Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to thank you guys for being understanding for missing last week's. I just needed to get my head straight. And for those of you that didn't realize that I didn't post on Monday, great, you didn't miss anything. So I am back with you today with an update, kind of. Yes, I guess an update video of everything that has been going on with Tylee, Ryan, and JJ Vallow. Well, with my first video on this case, I wanted to focus more on the kids than I did on the family, but this has come down to pretty much a shit show, and it kind of all needs to be out there. With everything going on with these people, it's insane. So, and even with doing a second video, I still am hardly scratching the surface at everything that's happened and everything that's going on, all the alleged cult, the suspicious deaths surrounding this family. You get it. It's a lot. But I will say, please do your own research as well. There are several other YouTube videos that have been updated and released and goes on with the case if you want to watch those. Or simply the news outlets, which is where I get all my information, and I will be referencing mine down below in the description box. As a disclaimer, I do my own research with all of the news outlets that I find, the court documents, the 911 calls, all that, and then I compile it into one video, or in this case, two videos, because this is the second video. And it's not uncommon for the news to also report incorrect information as well. So that's why I say do your own research, come up with your own conclusions. And again, as a disclaimer, I mean no harm to the family or the family of the family. I am just covering a case that interests me. So please be kind in the comments, as people of the family may see this video, may read the comments, and it's just kind to be kind. Always choose to be kind. So let's just get into it, okay? And like I said, since my last video, a lot has happened. And I said I wasn't going to get into the rest of the family, but here we go. By the time that I finished the last video, Lori and Chad were still at large. They were still on the run, hiding from everything. Now, on January 25th, Lori and Chad were found living their best life in Hawaii with no signs of the kids in tow. Officials have filed an order to produce against Lori to physically bring her children to Idaho by January the 30th. Obviously, January 30th has came and passed. There was no children. Make of that what you will. It just seems so simple to me. You bring your children, show that they are alive and safe and well, and bam, this whole big ordeal is over. But no, there's no children, so that kind of rubs me the wrong way, makes me believe that they are not alive and well. But that's just my opinion. Once they were located in Hawaii, it took weeks for Lori to be arrested for not producing her children, holding her in contempt of court because she didn't bring them. But finally she was. She has since been extradited back to Idaho for the charges, and there is a whole list of charges. There is a court document and court hearing if you want to hear all the charges. I'm not going to list them because there's a lot. So in Hawaii, she had a hearing to reduce her bail from $5 million to, get this, $10,000, which thankfully the judge denied because she is assumed as a flight risk. Hello, she's flew to Hawaii and left for like 2.5 months or more, and again flew to Hawaii to get away from everything that's going on here currently. So the judge said no. Also, she has hundreds of thousands of dollars at her disposal, i.e. Tammy Daybell's life insurance that Chad Daybell got, but we'll get into that later. She is now back in Idaho in jail, and she had a second hearing to reduce her bail. This time it was approved, so it's reduced to $1 million. And get this, she has contacted bail bondsmen to work with her, but they refuse to do so because they feel she is a flight risk and they'll never get their $1 million back that they used to bail her out. So she's stuck in jail. To this date, Chad has not been arrested or charged with anything. Hopefully that's to come. So let's get into what happened or what was found out between my last video and now. So the two, like I said, were found in Hawaii. They had applied for a house, to rent a house, back in November 2019. Remember, the kids haven't been seen since September of 2019. So while everyone is looking for their children, they're just off in Hawaii having the time of their life. They went to this house as a sign of God that they were supposed to go there. The owner of the house, Jeannie Martin, said that they were acting like newlyweds when she first met them. But later, I think she ended up doing her own research, I guess a background check of her own, and she found out that Tammy Daybell had died just, 2 weeks prior, and here they are acting like newlyweds. So she did confront, through text, she did confront Chad about Tammy, and at this point, I guess Chad decided, I'm not going to rent from her anymore, but he did also answer, I guess, his answer to her question and said that, I went to bed that night, woke up, and saw that Tammy had passed away several hours prior. She looked so peaceful. And get this, in her death, she, as in Tammy, helped him move on and connect with Lori so quickly. Wait. Okay, let's just keep going. So while they were living in Hawaii, they had a small ceremony, got married 2-3 weeks after Miss Tammy Daybell passed away. There are wedding photos. They got married on November the 5th. However, get this, it was found out that the ring that was purchased off Amazon for $35.99, which money doesn't matter, but it was ordered on October the 2nd, 17 days before Tammy passed away. And it was delivered to Lori on October the 7th at her Idaho address, but the order was in Charles Vallows' name. Remember Charles Vallows, Lori's latest ex-husband? She continued to use his credit card and his Amazon account after his death. Again, he died in July 2019 at the hands of Alex Cox, Lori's brother. Also, the day after, on October the 3rd, someone on the computer looked up wedding dresses. I mean, she's getting married November the 5th, so obviously it was Miss Lori. So let's go back to what also happened on October the 2nd that I didn't get into on my first video and things that came up after my first video. So on October the 2nd, Lori and what appeared to be Chad Daybell went to a storage unit, I'll get into that, where they had large and heavy items dropped off at the storage unit. And also on the same day that I kind of little touched on at the end of my video, same day, Brandon Boudreaux, I may be saying his name wrong, is shot at. I'll come back to that because Brandon, he's a new name in this, I would say, game. He's a new name, right? And there is also more on the spiritual meaning in regards to transformation and healing and other things like that in the ring. But that would be slightly touched on again later. I'm going all over the place because this story is all over the place. They found Lori and Chad in Hawaii. They searched their car where they found Tylee and JJ's birth certificate, JJ's iPad, Tylee's cell phone, and Tylee's debit card. Now remember, Tylee's cell phone was used a month after she went missing to reply to a friend's text saying, I miss ya, love ya, which obviously didn't come from Tylee because 1, Lori had it, 2, the friend said it didn't sound anything like Tylee. She typically spelled her words out, but that's what we know. She's had Tylee's cell phone. Back to that storage unit that I brought up that on October 2nd was visited by Lori and Chad. So it was found that an abandoned storage unit owned by none other than Lori Vallow and it was full of children's toys, children's clothes, photos, everything related to kids in this storage unit. Lori began renting this storage unit in October and visited it, that's hard to say, several times in October and November. Obviously before she left, or unless she flew back and forth from Hawaii, but they said that she visited several times in October as well. She was in Hawaii on November the 5th getting married, so I don't know the timeline on all that. Now, police did go to the storage unit. I think it was about a day or so, a few days after they did the welfare check on the children in November as well. They did take photos of everything that was in the storage unit, but since November, the police have not been back to the storage unit. Okay, and again, my last video, I touched briefly on Lori's previous marriages. This is Mr. Daybell is her 5th husband. To each their own, you know? You do you. Now, Lori's prior husband's death to Joseph Ryan, not the death, but the marriage. I mean, whatever you see, death, marriage, it's all the same with her apparently. But Joseph Ryan's death has been looked into now in a way, I don't know how much so, because he was presumed to have a heart attack in 2018 and he was cremated. Surprise, surprise. And I didn't get much into it, but you know, Mr. Alex Cox, our little favorite guy here that's just the killer of everyone, attacked Joseph Ryan back in the day with a taser. This is the same guy that killed her latest late husband, Charles Vallow, as self-defense. Again, it's being looked into now, thankfully. We'll get into that part just a little bit later. So apparently with Mr. Joseph Ryan, there was an ugly custody battle for Tylee between Lori and Joseph. All this was going on, the custody battle, Lori, Charles, when she was still married, and Tylee, and I'm assuming JJ as well, moved to Hawaii. And Lori told Joseph that if he continues to contact her and just doesn't leave them alone, that she is going to bring up abuse charges against Joseph on Tylee, that he abused Tylee, basically. He did go through a lot of investigation and questioning to prove that he would never harm Tylee. But Tylee did go along with it because she could stay in Hawaii where she was homeschooled and slept all day, which is what she told her friend on the phone. So, good job. Back to Charles Vallow's death. There, I think I mentioned it briefly, but there is police body cam of the scene and the interview with Alex Cox, you know, Lori's brother, and again with Lori and Tylee. Tylee's was redacted because she is a minor. All of them are extremely calm, so calm, in fact, that they decided to throw a pool party the night of Charles Vallow's murder. Let's celebrate this and throw a party, because that sounds great, right? The body cam interview with Alex, he's saying that no one was there when Charles came at him with a bat and he shot him, basically is what it was. He says that Lori took the kids to get away, mind you, in Charles' rental car, and took JJ to school, and Tylee came back with Lori, and that's when the police questioned those two. But while Lori is being interviewed, she says she had Charles' phone and said that Charles came at her demanding his phone back. And that's when Alex and Charles were rolling around on the ground and fighting and all that stuff. All that stuff. Okay, awesome. And she went into the kitchen to get away, and then she heard a gunshot. She came back into the room, and that's when she saw Alex standing over Charles's body. Then she took the kids away to JJ took JJ to school. Don't know what she did with Tylee, but her and Tylee came back later. So there are differences with the statement. Mind you, no one called 911 immediately. Alex took the time to get cleaned up and put the gun away, and then he called 911. Now, when the police questioned why Alex was there, apparently this is pretty early in the morning, because if she's taking JJ to school, I mean, it's got to be like, what, at least between 6 to 8 o'clock, I would assume. But that's when Alex said that he was on vacation and him, the kids, and Lori were going to do something fun. Lori actually said that she felt that Charles was going to come and cause trouble, so she wanted Alex there. To do what, Lori? To do what? I wonder. Okay, now I also touched on the lovely divorce that was filed back in February of 2019 by Charles against Lori, where she claimed, that she was a being of God, and the 144,000 people, and if you get in my way, I'm going to kill you type thing. But there's more. Not just, I'm going to kill you. It was apparently stated that Charles was on a business trip. While he was away, Lori took out thousands of dollars, canceled his return flight, took his truck from the airport parking lot, and also all of his belongings. So when he got back, he had nothing. I don't even know how he got back. I guess he took a cab back to his house. But she took everything. Don't know how all that got cleared up. And I don't know if this is whenever maybe she went on a 2-month hiatus where she left JJ with Charles. There was also something that she disappeared for 2 months. According to her, she left because she wanted Charles to know what she dealt with on a daily basis taking care of JJ. Mind you, JJ was not her biological son. He was also not Charles Vallow's biological son. He was his... Okay, I get that confused. He was related to Charles. He adopted him, and I guess Lori also adopted him. Whenever I say she had to deal with JJ, he is autistic. I don't know what range of the spectrum, but he is autistic. You knew what you signed up for when you adopted him, but, okay. Now, remember Chad Daybell's late wife, Tammy Daybell, God rest her soul, died just weeks before Lori and Chad were married. Tammy's death, the whole all natural cause thing, has been looked into. There is an autopsy performed. They exhumed her body December the 12th after she had passed on October the 19th. Those results have not been released, and they are saying that it can take up to a year, which is, in my opinion, not typical, but okay. Seems they are not wanting to release all the information, which I get it. It's a huge case. Media has blown it up, and us YouTube people have also blown it up, but we're interested in it, okay? Back to July the 3rd, 2020. The police have gotten a warrant to search Chad Daybell's house or residence. They took 43 items into evidence. Don't know what those are. That information has not been released. But there has since been a friend to come forward of Chad's that said, and I quote, he said that Chad wanted to get out of publishing, but Tammy didn't want to. He said that when Tammy, passes, I'm done. I can't keep doing this. Well, that's kind of odd, considering you're saying when she passes and she's only 49 years old. Most people in good health, which she was very healthy, don't just randomly pass. So it's kind of odd. And not to mention, the ring being purchased just weeks before she died, but that's okay. Now, Brandon Boudreaux. It's hard to say. Sorry, apologize. Boudreaux. I touched on his name very briefly in the first video, saying that there was a drive-by and other family members involved in it, but I didn't mention any names. He is Lori's niece's ex-husband. Yes. Melanie Boudreaux. Can't say it. On October the 2nd, like I said, he called 911 saying that someone had shot at him and busted out his driver's side window. He identified the vehicle as a Jeep, but he didn't get a look at who was in the Jeep. He has since hired a private investigator and has found out that Jeep was registered to the deceased Charles Vallow. Again, this is in October. Mr. Vallow died in July. He can be driving the vehicle. Brandon suspects that Alex, Lori's demon of death brother, that goes around killing everyone, is the person that shot at him. Now, mind you, it has also come to light that Tammy also had stated that someone had shot at her a few weeks before her death, and she thought it was a BB gun or pellet gun or something like that. I couldn't find that article again, but she also claimed that someone shot at her when she was out on her drive. He believes that the shooting was linked to his ex-wife, Melanie, based on her religious beliefs with Lori and Chad and Alex. Melanie is now remarried to a man named Ian Pulowski. I'll get into him just briefly a little later. So 3 weeks later, after Brandon was shot at, Melanie and Alex show up at Brandon's father's house. Don't know what for, other than there is a custody battle going on for the kids. But Brandon's father dialed 911. He's yelling at the people to leave, saying he's called the police. The police come and they arrest Melanie for trespassing. Brandon is scared for his children, obviously. I mean, JJ and Tylee are missing. Melanie has the same beliefs as Lori, maybe not as extreme. So again, due to the radical religious beliefs, he's filed for full custody of the children. Now, Brandon claims that Melanie is in the cult where adults and children are killed like flies. Sound familiar, right? Because obviously that's what's happening here. Melanie did move to Idaho next door to Lori just a month after Lori moved to Idaho as well. Brendan also claimed that Melanie knew where the kids were, JJ and Tylee, but with questioning by the FBI about 3 times, that hasn't been proven that she does know. Melanie has been fully cooperative with the investigation on Tylee and JJ. And in my opinion, it's a little difficult to determine if Ian is involved in this cult, but he has written articles regarding the crystal properties of the magnetite ring that Lori bought herself for Chad to give to her for her wedding ring. So, but the magnetite, you know, the healing properties and the transformation and the doomsday and 144 people, that. I mean, if you have time, there's a lot of it. Do your research on this whole, I wouldn't say cult, because there are other people that I do know that are somewhat involved in this. They've kind of reached out to me, not knowing that I covered this, and were trying to get me involved in it, and it is... I can't even describe how over my head and mind-blowing it is, but I'm not going to get into that. There's way too much. I will say there do appear to be different types of people here. Like, I can't think of the name right now. It's a really weird name, but that's what these people seem to be. And then there's the good people that are trying to save everybody. That there are 144 people that are 144,000 people that are trying to save everybody to ascend, and I'm not getting into all that. Okay, so my main reason for doing the first video is the kids, right? So let's get back to the kids. 1.5 years prior to Charles's death, he ordered a service dog to assist with JJ. A lot of times it's sleeping at night. So they got a golden doodle named Bailey. In August 2019, you know, after Charles's death, Lori called the dog trainer in Arizona to give up the service dog because they were going to be moving to Idaho. You know, most people take their animals and dogs with them. I know that we did. So the trainer shows up, picks up the dog, and notices that Lori is heavily packing, and that JJ at this time is in the back seat of the car playing. So in August, JJ is alive, but we know because his last known date of anyone seeing him is September the 23rd. September 24th, Lori sent an email to JJ's school saying that he will no longer be attending because she had to take an out-of-state job very quickly due to Charles's Vallow's death. Or as she says, the death of her husband, which they were already separated. He got a rental car from Texas to go to Arizona, but, you know, okay. JJ was last seen, like I said, September 23rd. The last sighting of Tylee was September the 8th, 2019. After the police found her phone, they found videos and photos of the family at Yellowstone National Park. And I say the family as in the kids, Lori and Alex, my favorite person here. Sarcasm. The CCTV footage from Yellowstone National Park does show the family coming in. I will say that I saw one report somewhere, and I couldn't find it again to reference it, that it never showed the family coming, or it never showed Tylee coming out. So take that with a grain of salt. I couldn't find it again. So I don't know if they are going to find her body there. I would love for them to be alive, but unfortunately I do not think that's going to be the case. They are searching Yellowstone. They said that they were going to search it once the snow melts. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the area. I don't know how long it snows there. But also with the coronavirus, I'm not sure if they're going to still get out there. I know the police are still essential workers, obviously. Hopefully they'll find something. Now, the police also did ask for all witnesses' photos and videos of the park that they took on that date. Don't know. I haven't heard any information other than that. Now we're getting to the end of it. Latest information from court documents. And this is disheartening. And it goes along with the whole two sides of this 144,000 people and the end of time. I will say both sides do feel that the end of the world is going to happen in 2020. I'll say the good side, if there is a good side, say that it's going to be more so of October 2020, whereas Lori and Chad and all them believe that the end of the world will be July the 2020. We'll see. We're fast approaching. So here we are. I know that was a big spill. Latest information from court documents that state Ian came forward and with what Melanie had said, basically that Lori believes that her children are zombies. They have become zombies because the soul has left their bodies and nothing can come into their bodies anymore. Basically, their souls have disappeared. And this was shortly before the kids disappeared that she believed that the kids were zombies. And I do believe that Brendan also mentioned that Melanie had also stated that sometimes there's a light in the children that just goes out. So that's obviously why Brandon is scared for his children's life and safety. I keep spitting. I don't know if you guys see it, but I do. Anyway, Melanie was also worried that Alex may have had to take care of the kids. I'll leave that out to your own interpretation, but most of us know what take care of the kids mean, especially with this guy, Alex. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that I have on the update of JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan. There has been also some YouTube and news interviews with the older brother, Colby Ryan. I actually haven't watched those. I don't know why, but has nothing to do with this, obviously. He's very pissed at his mother. I mean, who wouldn't be, that this is happening, and he is obviously not siding with her. I didn't mention that Lori text her other sons Charles's sons, to let him know that he had passed away. Text, just, hey, your dad died. And basically couldn't hold a conversation with them, and she wouldn't provide information. And I think Colby didn't find out that Charles died from a gunshot by Alex until several days or weeks later. He thought he died of a heart attack, just like Joseph Ryan. So that's where we are now, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we have from here since my last video. If no one knows anything about the well-being of the kids, if they're alive, if they're safe, if otherwise. But Lori is scheduled to be back in court in early May if this whole virus thing is gone. Some of the courts are also closed, I do believe. She has not to date been charged with murder or anything like that. I guess because there's no body. I could keep going. There's, like I said, I've barely scratched the surface, so it's recommended that you do your research. As always, if you know anything on the whereabouts of the missing children, Tylee and JJ, please contact the appropriate authorities. And until next time, guys, stay safe and healthy. Be kind. Always choose to be kind and spread love, not hate. Love you guys.